CeraVe has come out with a new product, the Oil Control Moisturizing Gel Cream. We need to talk about it. I've been trying it out. This is a facial moisturizer, presumably for people with oily skin based on the oil control aspect of it. Now, honestly, the ingredient profile in this is pretty on brand for CeraVe. You have the ceramide, you have the niacinamide, you have the hyaluronic acid. These are all moisture barrier targeted things. You know, hyaluronic acid helps with water retention, which can plump and smooth skin's outermost layer. And as a side note, for those of you who have oily, acne-prone skin with clogging of the pores, this is a good thing for you because the hydration aspect really helps support natural barrier turnover exfoliation. A lot of people who have acne-prone skin, they've been misled to think that they need to desiccate their stratum corneum with, like, you know, drying toners and things of that sort. Yeah, it's a really good thing to be using things that are hydrating for the outermost layer of the skin, because it just really helps cut down on the buildup of dry, rough skin cells that can get stuck together and contribute to pore clogging. Ceramides are lipids naturally found in skin's outermost layer, and they help, again, with barrier function. They can decline with age and also underlying skin conditions, and applying them topically can help improve your skin's production of its own ceramides and ultimately help out barrier function. While the name lipid may sound scary, if you have oily, acne-prone skin, you're really fearful of like oil, fatty things on your skin gonna break you out. No, that's not the case here. All right, but the formulation is specific for people who have oilier skin. What is it about this that is oil controlling? Well, nothing that you put on your skin is actually going to alter the biology of oil production, sebum production, because that is largely influenced by your genetics and hormones. So putting moisturizers on your skin does not lead to increased oil production. This is just a myth, but there are ingredients that can absorb the excess oil from the skin surface and have a mattifying effect. And in this case, it is silica. There are also products like clay masks that help absorb some excess oil and can kind of help degrease the skin. But to be clear, the oil control aspect is basically speaking to the fact that this will help keep you from looking shiny because the silica has some oil absorbing properties to help cut down on shine. And I guess that's where they're going with the whole rebalancing, you know, that kind of balances out the oiliness on the surface of your skin by absorbing it, and it kind of just ultimately helps in mattifying things. Now, like most CeraVe products, it does have niacinamide, which I always have to talk about because it is an ingredient that is just all over the place. I mean, all over the place. And CeraVe really leans into this ingredient in their products quite a bit. It is a B vitamin that is an antioxidant, it's anti-inflammatory, it can help slow the spread of pigment packets from the melanocytes to the surrounding keratinocytes. If you're prone to hyperpigmentation, it's a really good ingredient. It's also helpful for calming down redness. So if you are prone to post-acne redness, it's a great ingredient. It's good for the moisture barrier. It helps improve production of lipids in skin's outermost layer, helping with barrier function. And it also has anti-aging properties, and it's specifically been shown to be helpful for people with oily, acne-prone skin, probably because the antioxidant aspect of it is beneficial. Because here's the thing, when you have excess oil on the surface of your skin, you go about your day, you're exposed to environmental aggressors like pollution, infrared radiation. The sebum on your skin surface oxidizes, can be very inflammatory, and that can contribute to, well, acne flares. So if you're not clear at this point, this product is basically very similar to CeraVe PM, except it's got this silica aspect for absorbing excess oil, and the texture is a bit different. The product spreads easily on the skin. You know, I recommend people to apply a moisturizer after cleansing while the skin is still a bit damp, and so this really spreads quite easily on the skin. It's not greasy. So for me personally, and this is a new experience with a CeraVe product for me. I've never had this issue before, but a lot of you guys do. This actually caused me some discomfort applying it. And I hear this all the time from people. Why does CeraVe burn and sting? I can't use CeraVe moisturizers, they burn, they sting. I even have a whole video dedicated to this. You know, some people are sensitive to certain ingredients, certain formulations. I mean, we can like hypothesize till the cows come home about why it is that these products burn or sting. But for me personally, I've always used CeraVe moisturizers, the PM, you know. never had an issue until this. Man, this, you know, it's not unbearable, but for me, it's like a little neurosensory discomfort. I feel a little tingle and a little bit of warmth, actually, especially on my cheeks, which is an area where you have a high density of blood vessels, especially like right here. And it's uncomfortable, almost like the beginnings of wanting to itch. Mind you, my skin is not hyperreactive. I don't have rosacea. I don't have particularly sensitive skin. And while I try out many different skincare products, you could make the argument, well, maybe you've been doing something that is agitating your skin barrier. This is the only thing that I put on that causes me a discomfort, and everything else is perfectly fine. I'm not having any other kind of like issue with redness, burning, sensitivity. I use a lot of moisturizers, and there are so many on the market that are good that why would I use one that is uncomfortable, like when there are so many choices? I'm pointing that out because at baseline, I know so many of my viewers, so many of the audience at baseline finds that CeraVe moisturizers burn and sting. And if it caused me burning and stinging, and you already burn and sting with most CeraVe moisturizers, I would only imagine that this one likely will burn and sting you. Although of course I can't predict that, but so there's that, you know, it's not comfortable to use. It's not something I will ever repurchase again or use myself. Okay, I love CeraVe PM, the ingredients, the formulation. To me, CeraVe PM is perfectly fine. I don't find CeraVe PM to be overly dewy, greasy, shiny. There's nothing about CeraVe PM that is not good for oily skin in general. Okay, so like, I don't know that this is really adding a whole lot, but it might be something you're interested in if you have really oily skin. Speaking of shiny, you know, it talks about having a matte finish, and I suppose that's true, but like I don't really find that any of their facial moisturizers leave the skin particularly shiny. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with that, but I mean, by and large, the moisturizers, their formulas sink in, leave the skin hydrated, smooth, but they're not super shiny. I recommend applying moisturizers at night after you've washed your face. You know, ideally you put them on while the skin is still a bit damp after cleansing. And then you go to bed. So like at that point, do you really care if it makes you look a little shiny? I don't know. Is it really that big of a deal? Maybe, maybe not. So you're gonna put it on at night, great. I already mentioned it spreads on the skin easily. The following morning, my skin still felt moisturized, fine. Here is the issue. If you are someone who likes to use a moisturizer in the morning, I found that this product led to pilling of my sunscreen. So you would put this on in the morning after cleansing, maybe allow it to absorb, and then you're gonna put sunscreen on over it. I got pilling with pretty much every sunscreen I tried putting on over this. So sunscreen did not layer on over this particularly well. Maybe it has something to do with the silica. I don't know. I'm not gonna try and guess why that might have been. It moisturizes the skin just fine. It does what it's supposed to do. It's a moisturizer, helps combat dry skin. And it does dry with a matte finish, but honestly, all of their facial moisturizers do, as I mentioned before. But now you've kind of introduced this new issue, which maybe not an issue for you, but for me, it's that burning and stinging discomfort. And you've also introduced an issue where it pills under sunscreen, which I've never had that happen with CeraVe PM. Let me know, have you tried this? It's interesting too, because was it last year they came out with a gel moisturizer, and that product was not bad. I don't think I got any pilling with that. My issue with that is that I didn't find it to be that remarkably different, if at all, from just regular CeraVe PM, only in terms of the price. It was more expensive, and kind of the appearance of the product as you pump it out. But that product was just fine and would be equally fine to use if you have oily skin. So I don't really know. I just don't really feel like this is adding a whole lot. And I worry because if someone with oily skin says, oh, I've heard CeraVe is good, I'm gonna try this. This is not their best product, okay? It's just not. If you have oily skin, don't be afraid to moisturize. It can be really helpful, especially if you are acne prone, because it helps to hydrate the skin and allows for better distribution across the skin surface, actually, of your oil. See, if your skin is dry and you're putting out a lot of oil, that's where people fall into the territory territory of combination skin because you're not moisturizing in a lot of cases, and that oil ends up being a lot more obvious on the skin surface when it's on dry skin. So don't be afraid of moisturizers. And honestly, I really just don't find that any of their facial moisturizers dry particularly shiny, including their richer cream from the Skin Renewing line. The Skin Renewing Night Cream is underrated as a side note. And even that, which is a richer facial cream marketed more for people with, you know, mature skin, even that is not shiny. I saw on their website, stay tuned, they're gonna be coming out with an SPF 50 facial moisturizer. I'm definitely gonna wanna try that once it becomes available to see, like, does that burn and sting? Because there, I noticed the formula, the background formula is very similar to this. So I'm gonna definitely buy that once it becomes available, and I'll let you guys know. So stay tuned for that review. Whenever it launches, I definitely will buy it. I definitely will try it out for you guys. So make sure you come back and watch that video if you are curious about that. So this is a pass for me. I will not be repurchasing it. All right, y'all, that about wraps this video up. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it answered your questions. Speaking of skincare product reviews, on the end slide, I'm going to put my recent review of Remedy skincare. So check that out if you guys missed it and you were curious about those products. But if you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.